By the end of this video, you're going to know which Garmin or Lowrance unit is best for your situation. My name's Wesley Littlefield with YourBassGuy.com, and today we're comparing several Lowrance and Garmin units, from super cheap to mid to high range to the latest and greatest that you're going to find. Let's get to it. So I'm going to start with my personal unit. I bought it with my own money. I've had it for a few years now, and that is the Garmin Striker 4. This little unit I bought to put on my kayak because obviously I don't have a lot of space, and I really like it. It was the first unit that I've ever bought, so I really didn't know what to expect, and it's great for determining the depth, for finding a few pieces of structure. It's not going to give you great detail like I would like to see, but for a beginner unit, learning how just to read sonar and stuff, this is awesome. You can't beat the price. I think I paid $100 for this, and it might be a little more expensive now, but not much. So I highly recommend this Garmin Striker 4 is what this is, and if you're just getting into it and need to learn the basics. Now, on the Lowrance side of it, I got sent this Lowrance hook reveal, and it's another few steps up. I want to say it's closer into like the 300 to 500, maybe a little more range, but holy cow, this is awesome. It's got all the features that really any weekend angler needs. If you're not fishing a tournament, then I highly recommend going with this unit. It comes in several different screen sizes, from like 5-inch all the way up to 9-inch, I believe, and I loved it, to be honest. I took it out several times in my kayak. Now, granted, it was a little bit big for my kayak. This is the 9-inch version, I believe, and so it was, I think I would have went with like a 7-inch if I was keeping it, but it's a great unit. It has, I believe this one has the down scan, side scan, traditional sonar, and then it also has GPS capabilities, which I forgot to mention. The Garmin Striker 4 also has GPS capabilities, not nearly as detailed as this. Like, I don't have any lake maps with this one, while this one does come with lake maps. So spending that extra money does get you a lot more extra features. And I've got to say, the lake maps were great. I went to a lake that I live literally just down the road from, and fairly accurately had it. It's a big lake, common lake, so it wasn't any surprise. But then I also took it to a smaller, less known lake, and to my surprise, that lake was on their map system as well, and that was great. It honestly surprised me to see that lake on the maps. Now, the downside with this unit, obviously it's a little more expensive than the Striker, and it's not a touch screen, and you cannot use active target with this unit. This is just like down scan and side scan, and that's all you're getting. You'll have to step up to an HDS Live or FS Lead or some other higher end Lowrance units if you want the active target. Now let's go back to Garmin. I tested the ECHOMAP UHD, and this is the 73 SV version, and it was nice. I'm not gonna lie, this was a touchscreen where these two units aren't, so I really liked that. When I got water on the unit, it wiped right off. Love that. Another thing, this is Livescope compatible. So if you're looking to upgrade, if you're a tournament angler, especially a tournament anglers, you're gonna need Livescope, at least at some point. And the ECHOMAP series is Livescope compatible, so I would push more tournament anglers to go this series if you're a Garmin guy, or the HDS if you're a Lowrance guy. Now, a few things that I wasn't super fond of with this unit, like the screen, for instance, doesn't go the full width. Like, you can see how this one has the edges. This screen also, here, I can take this off. This screen also doesn't go the full edges, and I don't know why it bugs me, but it kind of bugs me. And also, it doesn't have the keypads. Now you can see it's got like the plus and minus for zooming in, and your shortcut keypads 1 through 4 for like going to your different pages. Like if you just want traditional sonar, if you want a split screen or whatever, you can use these as shortcut buttons. So it has that keypad, but it doesn't have any other keypad to like go back or whatever. So if your hands are really cold, sometimes touchscreens are finicky. Now, I didn't get to test it in the cold. It's late spring, early summer here, so it was warm. But as far as that goes, I didn't have any problems with it touching. My hands got wet, there was water on the screen, and it still worked great. So as far as that goes, I can't say a whole lot about, but I would like to see a keypad just for those really cold days, or if you're wearing gloves. And honestly, that was the biggest downside. I also tested Livescope with this unit, and I was blown away. If I could afford Livescope, I would love to have it, but it's expensive. Now, you can see in my other Garmin Livescope review that I consider getting Livescope almost turning fishing into a video game. And if you've ever played a video game, you know what a fishing video game, you know what I mean. You know, you cast the bait out there and you can see the fish. Well, with Garmin Livescope, you can literally see the fish and how they react to your bait. And it's really cool, but it also kind of takes away some of the fun and intrigue of fishing. With that said, it's super expensive as well, but I would get it if I could afford it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a tournament angler, so I can't really justify going out and spending like over $1,500 just for this, and then another $1,000 for this unit. You would almost need to buy 2 of these units, because when you're running Livescope, you can't run side scan at the same time. Now, the argument, like I said in my other video, is that you really don't need side scan. Yeah, but it's still nice to have. So you would actually need 2 units to run side scan and Livescope at the same time. That's another drawback. Here come the big bucks. You know, I mean, that's over $3,000 just in these 2 units, maybe even another unit. With that said, they're great units. I didn't find a lot that I didn't like, but honestly, I saved the best for last. I loved the Lowrance HDS Live. And I'm a Garmin guy. Let me be completely clear. I bought a Garmin. I love running Garmins. I think this is a great unit, but this unit just blew all the other ones out of the way. And I'd probably be purchasing this unit very soon. Hopefully my wife isn't watching. This unit was just incredible. As you can see, the screen goes pretty much to the full edge, and it's touchscreen, but it has all these keypads right here that I really liked for when you're wearing gloves or when it's cold. And then you've got your different pages buttons. I just think that Lowrance designed the functionality of this extremely well. It's super easy to learn to use. I've messed with cheaper, lower end Lowrance units before, but when I stepped up to this, I was kind of skeptical because of all the features that it had. And come to find out, it was really relatively easy to use, pretty straightforward. It had all the features that this one has, plus it has more capabilities like active target and the Genesis Live, which is like mapping your area as you move through the water. So the map will give you a general depth, where this with Genesis Live will actually give you the depth that you're setting in, and it'll map it for you and save it if you have the memory card inserted. That was awesome. I love that. Like I said, I visited a lake with this unit and this unit that is less common, and it didn't have the depth contours or anything. Well, it did after I paddled around with this for a little while, and I absolutely loved it. It was hard for me to find anything bad to say. The one thing is obviously it's a higher end unit, so it's expensive. Now, the screen on it was great. It responded, even my wet fingers, when I'd get water on my fingers or water on the screen, it responded great, and I really want it, I'm not gonna lie. The one drawback for maybe a smaller boat was screen size. I would say if you've got a smaller boat, like a little John boat or a kayak, go with like a 7-inch, and maybe even a 5-inch. Definitely cut it back to like a 7-inch. This was the 9-inch screen, and it was just a little bit too big. I might bump it with my paddle, or it might get in the way while I'm fishing a little bit. But with that said, when you have it split screen, I could run chirp sonar, down scan, side scan with it all at the same time, and I could see each screen pretty clearly, which is awesome to be able to do that. Whereas like with this smaller 7-inch screen, I could do it and I could see it, but there was just more detail visible with a bigger screen. With that said, both of these units are incredibly clear when going over like a brush pile in down scan or whatever. You can see the details of the branches, and if it's like flooded water, which I actually floated through, you could see the leaves on the trees that were underwater, or the new fresh grass that was coming up, and you could see the little shoots, and it was incredible for both of these units. But in particularly, the Lowrance HDS Live. If you want to purchase any of these units, there's links in our description below. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, remember that education is important, but fishing is essential.